Okay, now this looks freaking awesome. Look at this brand new champion armor they added into Space Marine 2, as well as a bunch of other stuff, including, yes, a bunch of heroics that we gotta take a look at. Because, yes, Update 11 is here, which also includes, yes, a brand new PvE mission, Reclamation. Also something very, very cool, and I think this is an underrated feature for sure. Check it out. Bot customization is here. This is so freaking cool. And on the side of stratagems, they added in a whopping 40 new battlefield conditions. By the way, guys, they did release some fresh patch notes that do definitely differ from the PTS, some changes that we have to talk about. Oh, and before I forget, the Salamanders also got a bunch of brand new cosmetic updates as well. So yeah, definitely a lot to go over, but you know what? Check this out right here.
So check this out, guys. If you've ever dealt with lag or even disconnects while gaming, then you've got to check out this tool called ExitLag, which prevents this from happening. And a huge thanks to them, by the way, for sponsoring this video and providing you guys with a super special Black Friday deal. But more on that later. So to prevent lag and disconnects with ExitLag, all you got to do is get started. First, you'll need to install ExitLag on your PC, which is extremely easy to do. You just select your plan, create your account, download and install. You then select the game you want to prevent lag in, have it automatically select your server region, click on the red Apply Routes button, and ExitLag will optimize the data between your PC and the game server using their AI route optimizer. And ExitLag has the ability to connect you to more than 3,000 games with optimized servers around the world, and this ultimately reduces network latency, prevents lag, and possible disconnects. And get this, there is even a PC boost setting as well to help improve gameplay performance. And in this example, you'll notice without ExitLag, this player runs into some serious lag and then they disconnect. But with ExitLag, they were able to prevent the lag and prevent the disconnect from even happening. So check out ExitLag's Black Friday deal now to get the annual subscription for 50% off with an extra 3 months for free. That's 1 full year of ExitLag for half the price, and you also get 3 30-day keys for free. Click on the link in the description below to get this offer while it lasts, or scan the QR code on the screen, and don't forget to use discount code Black Friday. And thanks again to ExitLag for sponsoring this video.
All right, but I say we dive into this update and see what's what and what is new. We're going to start out with the new heroic items. Hello, good sir. All right, so here we are. We have 6 heroic weapons here and 8 armor pieces that have been added in here. Of course, you unlock these through your accolades, but with the bolt sniper rifle, we have, after performing a headshot, 1 round is automatically reloaded into the weapon, which is not too bad. For the heavy bolt pistol heroic, we have shooting an enemy with the elite scream status stops it from calling for reinforcements. Headshots kill in 1 shot. Nice. And then, of course, the instigator bolt carbine says fire rounds in higher rate burst. What about the chains of duty? This is the heavy bolter. It says perfect parry window increases by 50%. Well, that's actually pretty good. After a gun strike, the weapon is completely cooled. Nice. And Storm's Dominion, which is going to be our Thunder Hammer, fully charged attacks leave behind a shock grenade effect. This one looks absolutely badass. Death's Grasp. So performing a finisher marks a nearby Majoris level or higher enemy for a gun strike. Light attack damage increased by 200%, and charged attack damage will decrease by 50%. So a little bit of a warning there. And again, you do have your brand new armor pieces, a total of 8 of them. But I think the highlight is definitely this right here, this beauty, the Mark 8 Errant helmet. Check that out. That looks freaking badass. And oh yes, we have got to talk about customization. So what have they added in here? Let's check it out. So of course, we have the Blood Angels champion. This is by far like one of my favorites. Dude, I feel like Russell Crowe is inside this suit now. And he is a freaking gladiator ready to go. Look at that. That is freaking awesome. But anyway, yeah, I love it. Now, also, we have some other cool stuff going on, too. By the way, Assault gets this really badass Blood Angels champion jump pack, which is really cool. And yeah, Salamanders, once again, do get a bunch of brand new cosmetics in here as well, which you can check out and unlock as you go, but there's some really cool options in here for sure. And by the way, since we're talking about Assault, something really important from the patch notes. So yes, you guys may know already that they added a set of jump pack dash attacks for Assault that are going to be much quicker and responsive than your normal sprint attacks. Now, dash attack should be affected by all perks that affect sprint attacks as well, so just remember that. But there is a change from the PTS. It says jump dash attacks deal 50% more damage this go around. And something really important to know about the other classes here, they did mention that they are going to be continuing to expand and improve sandbox gameplay for all classes. But after Assault, it's going to be Tactical's turn. And really important to know for those of you that love Vanguard, yes, Vanguard is going to be seeing an update as well. However, these changes will not be making it into patch 12, as that will be all about the Tech Marine. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into those patch notes. Specifically, there are highlighted sections within the patch notes which are labeled changes from PTS. So this is the brand new stuff that we did not know about until today. So we're going to dive into those things first and foremost. But also, I am going to throw those patch notes in the description down below. If you missed out on what was happening with Space Marine 2 for quite some time, you could read through those for yourselves. But a lot of things were touched here, including, you know, gameplay systems, and then, of course, weapons and all sorts of stuff. Let's dive into this first. So, Heroic Power Gladius, what's going on here with the damage? So, damage buff now lasts for 1 second after the first instance of damage instead of being wasted on a single enemy. But what's the change from PTS? So, they fixed an issue where damage buff lasted indefinitely. So, that's no longer going to be the case, of course, with the Power Knife. Now, they did highlight some firearms here that did see some changes. But we have this right here, of course, the highlighted section from the PTS. So what has changed since PTS? So bolt pistol base damage has been increased by 13.5%. And then the Volt Kite pistol base damage and Volt Kite explosion damage increased by 10%. So those are going to be buffs. And this whole section has been labeled, hey, pay attention here, because this has changed since the PTS. So heroic weapon changes since the public test server. Heroic heavy bolt pistol saw an increased gun strike damage by 20%, added 6 ammo to maximum capacity, and heroic perk will now instantly kill enemies that are calling for reinforcements. And then we have heroic sniper bolt rifle. All ammo restore perks will not trigger when using this weapon. I have a little bit of a note here from the dev team. While it was clear that this is a very powerful weapon in PTS, we don't want to reduce its effectiveness, but we do want to raise its skill cap, the more you know. And for the heroic Thunder Hammer, Assault's ground pound will also spawn a shock zone. And for the heroic Power Fist, what do we got? Damage bonus for light attacks is increased by 200%. That's pretty good right there. Increased radius for heroic perk activation to 15 meters. And then issue fix, sometimes perk didn't activate properly and works like a fencing weapon as originally intended as well. And then they did mention the heroic heavy bolter. They fixed some UI display of accuracy value as well for that one. And of course, we have some class changes here, but we got to go to the highlighted section, which is about the Vanguard. So it says, for too long, Vanguard's role was to be a vessel for the squad's healing perks. With these changes, we want to reinforce range melee hybrid playstyle for him, but we are not entirely done with Vanguard changes. We would like to take a closer look at his ability. Now, for grapnel launcher damage, now scales based on difficulty. And for retribution, as you can see, it's been highlighted. The perk has now been reworked. So the old version says after you are grabbed or knocked back, you deal 30% more melee damage for 20 seconds. The new version says this: when your ranged weapon's magazine is empty, melee damage increases by 25%. And the change from the PTS is damage buff increased from 20 to 25%. So we got a buff right there. There are some other changes here as well that they do talk about, and I think it's worth noting them simply because you can see a bunch of the highlights right here. So stick with me as we get into this. So they do mention this. So moving target, the perk has been reworked as well. So the old version is each melee attack you land reduces the range damage you take by 5% up to 30%. If you do not land a melee attack for 5 seconds, the effect ends. The new version is killing an enemy at a range of 30 meters or more restores ability charged by 5%. Tenacity. So the perk has been reworked, of course. The old version says after killing 10 enemies within 5 seconds, diving kicks damage increases by 40% for 15 seconds. The new version is after a ranged kill Majoris level or higher enemy, diving kicks damage increases by 130%. Cooldown is 15 seconds. And the change here from the PTS is fixed interaction between shockwave, perk, and tenacity caused by double damage scaling. So that has been addressed right there. And for collateral damage, They did increase damage by diving kick to 50% for inner fire. What's going on here now works according to its description. So they did address some issues with that one as well. They also have some assault changes in here. Nothing that has changed since the PTS, so I'm not going to talk about that too much. They did include some new battlefield conditions, including great responsibilities, a great one, increase HP bonus from 100% to 150%, retirement barge, reduce HP debuff from 66% to 50%, and so on and so forth. There's like 40 new battlefield conditions that they did actually add in here. They also did talk about gameplay quality of life, increased netcode damage cap, and there is some highlights here from the actual dev team. They said this change is going to open a huge can of worms for gameplay balancing, but it has to be done. Okay, this is interesting. So let me actually pop this open so you guys can read it. All right, the game damage numbers should not be restricted by netcode and should be accurate all the time. We will be monitoring which builds and perks combinations will become problematic. It's pretty clear that some damage buff combinations from multiple sources are already insane. Looking at you blocking power fists for now. Have fun. Okay, so that is going to be, it seems like work in progress type thing. Might change in the future, but they did have a little section under here what they're talking about, in particular the specifics. So sniper damage buff from cloak ability lasts a little bit too long to fully affect entire burst and full auto weapons. Improve sound indication for unparable attacks, and Pyro Cannon heavy stance behavior with sprint now matches other heavy weapons as well. Nice. Anyone using the Pyro Cannon, by the way, these days? Let me know. And they also did a bunch of AI adjustments as well. The Vortex Beast, they added a headshot area, which a lot of you guys will rejoice about that. And then they fixed headshots not registering client side for Chaos Spawn as well. And of course, I did go over the customization stuff, but you can also sort armor parts by rarity now. And they did fix the Black Templar Champion chains for his power sword, so that's going to be on display properly, and then lots of minor customization fixes there as well. And there's a bunch of other stuff that they did address. But yeah, update 11, not too shabby. Let me tell you what, this game is becoming absolutely something special, at least in my personal opinion. Considering that this stuff is free, I'm not talking about like all the customizations, of course, but like the core experience, operations, that sort of thing. Keeping that free is just absolutely everything, because now we have a lot of variety in terms of what operations you can play with. And if you're like coming into Space Marine 2 fresh, new, yeah, there's going to be a lot of content for these newcomers. So I can see how this game is turning into like a fully fleshed out, feature rich game for sure. And I love what they're doing with customization. But anyway, yeah, that's my opinion about Space Marine 2 after update 11. I'm having a blast with it so far. Let me know if you guys are enjoying it or not, or if there's any problems that have arise after some of these netcode changes and updates. Sound off in the comments down below. But thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.